If you're just joining us on France 24, let's remind you of this breaking news story we're watching for you this hour. There's been an explosion near Kabul airport. The Pentagon have confirmed that explosion, and there are reports as well of casualties. We don't have an official figure for the moment, but a source in the Taliban is saying that 13 people have lost their lives and that women and children are among that toll. Douglas Herbert, our foreign affairs commentator, is on the set with me now. Doug, we were expecting a briefing from the Pentagon now. I understand that briefing has been delayed, and I'm sure there'll be a real scramble for information right now in Washington.
Yeah, and the Pentagon is scrambling for information too. You know, we've been watching these briefings. They've been daily now for the past several days, giving them updates, giving reporters updates on the state of the evacuation effort and what the general tone and tenor of them has been. The message they've been trying to convey is getting as many people out as fast as possible, given this looming August 31st deadline, which they really do not want to, unless it's an absolute last contingency to stay beyond. The tempo has been rising with, tens of thousands. 19,000 were evacuated a couple of days ago, 21,000 a day before that, so a lot. It's one of the largest airlift and evacuation operations in U.S. History of this nature around a city airport. But we also have gotten the sense from these briefings that the Pentagon is really, this is a minute-by-minute thing with a very touchy and uncertain security situation from one moment to the next at the airport, really depending on, as we were saying earlier, really what gate you're at the airport, perhaps the particular fighters and forces manning checkpoints outside the perimeter of that airport. What is their attitude? What's their mood? What sort of papers are they going to accept? And as far as, people trying to get into the airport, a sense of real tension sometimes negotiating between those manning checkpoints and those trying to get into the airport. I suspect right now, in the wake of this attack, you have all sorts of conflicting figures regarding casualties. Were there troops involved? Were there civilians involved? How many? Was it inside? Was it outside the airport? And so you're going to get a lot of different figures. You cited a Taliban figure earlier of 13 casualties. All of this not yet to be confirmed, and I suspect right now what the Pentagon is essentially trying to do is it is probably trying to talk to all of its commanders that it has on the ground there to try to get as real time as they can right now, because the reports are still coming in minute by minute, real time of exactly what they see, what is the situation from where they stand at their particular gates at the airport, what happened. And they're trying to get the numbers together because, it's been such a chaotic at times, as you said, especially in the early stages operation, perhaps smoother in getting people off in recent days. They want to give this press conference only when they really have at least initial credible information that they feel comfortable giving. So not surprising this has been delayed.
And obviously this is something we may come to find out during that Pentagon briefing when we get it, Doug. But I wonder whether you think that the evacuation process may draw to a close even quicker as a result of the images today that we're seeing from Kabul. It was supposed to come to an end on August the 31st at the beginning of next week. Countries were already trying to wrap up their evacuations because of security fears there. Perhaps this may be effectively the end of the line when it comes to pulling people out.
Put it this way, whoever's behind this attack, that's clearly one of the messages and one of their motives. They want to send a clear message much sooner rather than later. August 31st, the American troops and the other forces cannot get out soon enough. For whoever's behind this attack. From the U.S. standpoint, they're caught between a rock and a hard place because on the one hand, we've been reporting there are still thousands of people, both U.S. citizens, but even perhaps more significantly, tens of thousands of Afghans, only a fraction of whom really have made it to the airport. A lot of them are either in Kabul or a much darker, grimmer scenario, aren't in Kabul. So they have almost, a remotest chance of even getting to the capital. These are the people right now. It's really a weighing and balancing of the leaving in the lurch equation. Do the Americans, you have to ask yourself the hard, it's a military logistical question for the Pentagon. The State Department has a different prerogative. The State Department obviously is going to want to get out as many people as it can, American citizens as it can, because of this moral imperative to get them out, anyone who's worked with the U.S. The military advisors, as military advisors will do, they want to ensure the safest operation, and they want to ensure and guarantee the safety of troops as they pull out as well. So there's going to be conflicting imperatives out there, but you're absolutely right to suggest this could hasten and earlier as opposed to going straight up to the wire to that deadline.
All right.